I want to go through quickly the remedy Iodum. Iodum. It's appropriate to go through the remedy Iodum quickly. Very quickly. It's appropriate because Iodum is one of the most hurried remedies in the Materia Medica. One of the most hurried remedies. And despite the fact that Iodum was used since the time of Hahnemann, very little was known about the deeper psychological states until Vifulcus uncovered these facts. Of course, we said before when we talked about Iodum at the beginning, the first night, that there's the correlation with the thyroid gland and with metabolism in Iodum. The main idea that we get with Iodum is what George says, combustion. Combustion. You know, an internal combustion engine? An engine, it runs on the combustion, on the explosion, on the using of fuel, the burning of fuel to make the engine run. And this is what you'll see. There's a lot of points in similar with a combustion engine and Iodum. Right? First of all, that it runs very rapidly. You know, it burns up fuel and runs rapidly. It goes fast. And when you burn up fuel and are going very hot, what's a side effect? Heat. Heat is always a side effect. And so Iodum is one of the very hottest remedies, which we said. And if you're racing around in a car, what's one of the biggest dangers? You're going to lose control and crash. Yeah. And so Iodum, there's a strong potential for loss of control. The patient is usually very restless and hurried. And emaciation is quite common. Now that's common, but it doesn't have to be emaciation. You can prescribe Iodum without emaciation, so don't get that confused. Especially the classic is if there's emaciation of the body, but the glands stay enlarged. The thyroid gland, the cervical glands, and so forth. Often the liver and spleen can be enlarged. You'll see written in the texts often that Iodum is for people with dark hair and dark complexion. It's not necessary, but it is a point in the appearance. If you see that is characteristic. Now, many times when you see a case for Iodum, you're going to misprescribe certain other remedies. Very, very often you'll misprescribe lachesis. Also sulfuric acid. And you can misprescribe also argentum nitricum very easily. What's the other similarity with argentum nitricum that we see with Iodum? The heat and hurried, and one other is the impulses, impulsiveness. The patient expresses himself in a pressured way, like lachesis. Often the speech is loquacious, very hurried speech. And you have the feeling sometimes that he can barely stay in the chair. We said hurried, the patient will run even when he doesn't have to. Like again, argentum nitricum will do that. Also tarantula. Now, up till now, this is very close to a description of which clinical condition? Hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism. So it will look very similar with hyperthyroidism. And the patients may be frankly hyperthyroid, or it may come from a mental excitation. It seems to be also somehow metabolic. You get the feeling that it's not just a mental complex, but also a type of metabolic state as well. And the need for movement is very strong. And if the patient tries to restrain the movement, then comes on this strong tendency towards impulses. If they force themselves to sit still, then they may have the impulse to strike somebody or to kill or to stab somebody, like we can see with which other remedies? Mercury, we said just before. Nux vomica, arsenicum, hepar. Now another stage in Iodum is the development of a compulsive neurosis. Compulsive neurosis. He gets foolish thoughts and ideas into his mind, and he can't get them out. Again, similar with argentum nitricum. He may have a strong feeling that he's forgotten something, and because of that will often come into the office with lists of symptoms. Many remedies will bring lists, okay? It's not only Iodum that brings lists. Tuberculinum can bring lists, arsenicum can bring lists. Lots of remedies will come with lists, so you don't take that. But the interesting thing is each one comes in a little bit different. Arsenicum, the list, what does it look like? Perfect. May even be typed out, you know, or Nux vomica. A lot of times I have Nux vomica will bring a list that's from the computer, you know, and when you give the remedy, they add that into the computer, and then they bring you a new printout each time. That's kind of, so it's more efficient. Now, Iodum will bring usually lots of lists, and the classic, if you see it, which you probably won't see very often, is that they'll have 10 different lists scattered all over. Things that they've written, like they were eating lunch and they thought, oh, I have to tell Dr. Morrison this, and they write it on the matchbox that they got from the restaurant. They put that in the pocket. Then another time, they write a list of a few symptoms that's in this pocket. And so during the interview, it's like, oh, I have a list. Yes, here, this. Did I tell you that? And this. And then, oh, wait, they pull out their wallet, and inside the wallet, there's another list, and then another list. So they have, because they write the lists also impulsively, and they can come in with in really states of desperation, Iodum, as it gets more and more serious into these compulsive neurosis. Now the end stage that you can see is when these compulsions become really extreme, and yet because of the hurriedness and the distraction of the mind, they can't carry out their compulsions very well. So the typical story is they go to the closet in the morning to get dressed, and they look in the closet and they think, oh, this closet, I've got to clean up the closet. And so they start to take the shirts, to put all of the shirts together and all the pants together and the ties together and the coats together. And then he starts to arrange them, and he says, well, no, I have to do it better. We have to have all the long sleeve shirts and then all the... So he takes out all the shirts out of the closet, puts them on the bed. Then he takes the pants and he puts all the pants together. And then he goes back and he starts to take the shirts to get them in order. And he puts 2 shirts back, and then he thinks, no, the pants are wrong. He takes out the pants, puts them on the bed. Pretty soon, he went to straighten out the closet. The entire room is a complete disaster area. And he's exhausted, and he leaves the room and goes to fix something else. Now, this is an extreme compulsive neurosis, which you can't expect these states to get better quickly. And you won't see that full-blown aspect of Iodum very often.